Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Mars, host of the SOS, the Shout Out Show. Today's Sunday potluck. You can see I'm prepared a little bit differently, brothers and sisters. I have my fishing hat on because today, brothers and sisters, we're gonna go fishing. We haven't gone fishing in a long time. I'm going fishing. Now, every once in a while, on these fishing expeditions, it's not enough to get a little fish. It's not enough to get a big fish. Sometimes you want a large fish, sometimes you want a shark, but every once in a while, you want a whale. And today I want to go out with one of the biggest whales that ever happened in the advertising world. Now, some of you remember what I'm talking about when I put it on screen. Some of you, I'm going to have to explain it to you, but it's okay. You know why? Because I'm going to take the time to do it. Not only because I'm going to take the time to do it, I'm going to do it because the people who gave us this garbage took the time to do it. Familiarity is really one of the bedrocks of being a good politician, a good comedian, a good teacher, even a good athlete. Familiarity, brothers and sisters. And it is the ability to do something mechanically or structurally or muscle memory wise correctly. So I look around everything that's going on with voting rights and and I'm looking at it and I have to say bravo to the proponents of this evil because they have mastered aspects of muscle memory. What they don't like is what we're going to do today. And what we're going to do today is we're going to go fishing. Now, I am admittedly right now, early in this podcast, I'm going to admit to you that as I bring some of this stuff to you, I'm going to be halal sarcastic. And I'm just going to bring these things up because you know some of these things. You just kind of look the other way. Some of us, brothers and sisters, we thought it would go away if we, that's the funny. We think things will go away if we don't look at it. Well, we're going to get out of that thing today. We're going to look at something. And this is something you should know. This is something you should be aware of. This show, brothers and sisters, this potluck discussion is about recognizing when people are running game. And here's the thing, just like in basketball, you will run the same play over and over as long as it's what? Successful. Well, today, we're trying to take something and we're going to make it unsuccessful. And I hope at the end of this show, if you will, I hope at the end of this show, you will learn to be disruptive, to look at things that are wrong, to look at things that are incorrect, to look at things that are misleading, and be disruptive. So this class, brothers and sisters, is about being disruptive. If you look at the title is called The Crying Indian Commercial. Now, this commercial is one of the most iconic commercials that ever came out. So all you people talking about Greenpeace and all you people yelling up and down about climate control and all of that, if you never saw this commercial, shut up. Be quiet. I want to say let teachers teach, but some of the best teachers are not here, so you stuck with me. So you're going to shut up and you're going to learn the game, okay? This is like Iceberg Slim type stuff for you, brothers and sisters. But I'm not going to do Iceberg Slim. But it's Iceberg Slim-ish. And if you start looking at where we are today, guess what, brothers and sisters? You can be disruptive. Whether it be voting rights, I want to thank everybody that liked the show yesterday for Fannie Lou Hamer. But Fannie Lou Hamer, to me, figured out the game. That's why people didn't like her. That's why a whole lot of people loved her. That's why she's on the show. She figured out the game. So I felt it was it was proper, it was appropriate to start giving you guys the game. Because at some point in time, brothers and sisters, the Shout Out Show is going to change. It's going to metamorphose. It's going to be some, man, I'm just doing comedy. You never know, brothers and sisters. But for this Sunday, if you will, and whatever time we have left moving forward, I want to make sure that I'm giving you the game the way it was given to me. Now, this commercial I'm going to show you when we come back came out in the 1970s at the height of the pollution. That's what we're talking in the 70s now. We're talking about pollution, trash and bottles and all that stuff all over the place. And they came up with this commercial. I'm going to show it to you, but I'm going to take it time. We're going to start this show. Let me get my notes together. I'm Preacher Mars, SOF. We're going to be talking about the Crying Indian commercial. We'll be right back. And we're back, family. Let's go ahead and get into it. If you're here for the shout out show the first time, God bless you. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with us. Listen, simple rules on the shout out show. I'm the host, but I'm not the owner of the platform. The people make the show, brothers and sisters. I want to say the people led me to this topic that I've got to today. Sister Aisha Mustafa was on the show yesterday talking about, of course, Fannie Lou Hamer. But you know what? When I walked away, I said, I could have done a better job because I know things. See, when an elder comes on and they remind you of things, they remind you that you know these things. So I thought, you know what? Let's just take it there sometimes. Let's not worry about protocol, being nice, or da-da-da. Let's take the gloves off for a minute because sometimes we have to do that. So if you're here for the first time, thank you for coming. Simple rules. If you have something to say, something you'd like to share, please get in the comment section. Stick in the comment section, man. Let us know who you are, what your thoughts are. We're going to give you appropriately what's called the shout out. All right. Now, giving one shout out is cool. But if you want to be a part of the shout out family, shout out show soldiers, we got to have you back at least 2 or 3 times. Okay. So, and I'm going to show you what happens when you come back 2 or 3 times. We have some loyal people who show up on the show. I'm going to show you right now. Let's get to our stars in the building. Of course, we got Sister Ree. How you doing, Sister Ree? We hope that you are doing well. Sister Ree, I hope that you will remember what I'm about to talk about because you are from Michigan. And you know Michigan is big Native American territory. You live in Saginaw. You know Saginaw is an Indian name, just like Flint is an Indian name, just like Pontiac and Detroit are Indian names. But you wouldn't know these days because you can't find any Indians unless you go to let's say it, the casino. All right. So, Ree, good to have you on the show. We're going to keep this thing moving. Best wishes to you and your family. Let us know that you're doing well. We hope that you are recuperating. You're feeling all right. Keep us updated now. Don't be over there not feeling well. Keep us updated. Next up, Altaf Rashid. Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Everybody, this is our Canadian ambassador to the show. Make sure the quality and the content of the show is satisfactory to great on both sides of the border. Altaf, I really wanted you to check the show out because they had a situation in Canada recently. And they found, in moving around, they found that there was a mass burial site of first citizens in Canada. They were young kids buried up underneath a school, I believe. And I do appreciate the response from the nation of Canada. They found like 185 bodies, something like that. And they canceled Canada today. And they took a very, very introspective look at themselves and said, this thing happened. Very, very inspiring. So big ups to them. So definitely wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you, Brother Altaf. I want you to check this out because this actually happened in the United States. We're going to keep it rolling. Next up, thank you, Altaf. Next up, Sister Ika coming all the way from Indonesia. Hope you're feeling better, brothers and sisters. Keep her family in their prayers. You know, they're fighting that COVID battle. And it is a deep battle. So let's go from there and keep it moving. And of course, we have our consultant producer, Sister Satana Whitfield, making sure everything's cool on the ones and twos, making sure I stay in my lane doing what I'm supposed to do, being on time, trying to stay current. You know, sometimes people don't realize when you do a show, and we've done the amount of episodes that we do, you, just like you can fall into good habits, you can fall into bad habits. And one thing I can say about seeing Sister Satana on the back end of the show is like I never want to come unprepared for a show. I don't know what it is. I don't want to come unprepared for the show, and I don't want to be spouting off facts that are not correct. Because I'm like, it'd be really, really funny because she will probably pop on the screen like, no, that's not it. And I have to take it, I'll be taken to task. And I don't mind it though. I don't mind being taken to task. Okay, next up. So, brothers and sisters, in the early 70s, America had a problem. They had a pollution problem. Actually, they had a lot of problems. This was precluding things like the oil embargo, stuff like this. This is before this Gerald Ford heading into, of course, the Jimmy Carter era of the presidency. So you had a lot of turmoil from Nixon to Ford to Jimmy Carter. Those years were just racked with all kind of chaos and confusion. On top of that, we had environmental problems throughout the United States. Now, some of the large environmental problems had to do with urban development, urban dwelling. We won't talk about that right now. But they made a case, brothers and sisters, that it was a system and a scenario of how we deal with pollution. And it was a very ingenious commercial that came out. It's called The Crying Indian. Now, let me explain to you guys what you're about to see. One, you will see an Indian who is engaging with the environment and looks noticeably sad about what's happened to the environment. Hold that thought. There's another thing that I want you to understand. It has to do with accountability and responsibility. And the third one is historical imperative. All right? Now, I'm not saying look for all three. You're going to find one. You might find all three. It doesn't matter. I'm going to show you one of the greatest commercials and commercial frauds that was ever perpetrated on the U.S. public. One of the greatest commercials and one of the greatest commercial frauds that was ever perpetrated on American public. And it is a blueprint for what you see today. An absolute, this is where Fox comes from, brothers and sisters. This is where insurrections come from, brothers and sisters. I guarantee, I bet my fishing hat that you're going to see something in here that you saw in the last 6 months in this country. Here we go. I'm going to bring it to you. Stay with it. Here we go.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it.
What's the word that I'm thinking of? Let me meditate on the word that I'm thinking of. What is the word? I got it. Liars! You are liars. You are the biggest liars in the world. You show me an Indian going through land that you wrecked and saying these are the people that buy. They are the people who own the land. You are liars. Oh, and let's get the facts, brothers and sisters. That Indian that cried at the end, that wasn't a tear. It was glycerin. They put it right here. He could have been crying for the next 3 damn weeks in a tornado, and that tear would still be there. Oh, and here's the killer part. He's not Native American. He's Italian. He's Italian with Italian parents who immigrated here. They never saw an Indian. They saw pizza before they saw peace pipes. This is ridiculous, brothers and sisters. Then from there, and they migrate to Louisiana. Louisiana. If you can't be an Indian in Louisiana, something's wrong with you. It doesn't get any better, brothers and sisters. He's an actor, an Italian actor. His parents split up. Mother stayed in Louisiana. Father moved to Texas. Him and his brother moved to Texas. They got the bug for Hollywood. They went out to Hollywood. He couldn't get acting work as a white Italian. He got work as an Indian in over 200 movies and shows. To the point, other Native Americans looked at him and said, "You ain't no Indian." Yes, I am. "You ain't no Indian." "Yes, I am. As long as they give me this work, I'm going to be an Indian." And then the killer part, brothers and sisters, his career is defined by that ad. In the late 90s, they gave him an ad. They gave him an award. Native Americans gave him an award for his contribution to the Native American community. They talked about all his philanthropic work, I get that. Indian causes. Whenever you saw him, he was always dressed in something, Indian traditional wear. You never saw him in jeans, But here's the thing, brothers and sisters. It's predicated on a lie. You're going to preach it. You probably say, "Preach it, you overreact." I'm not overreacting. In Spokane, Washington, they had a white woman dressing up as a black woman, acting like a black woman, wound up getting a post as the director of the NAACP chapter in Spokane, Washington. Lightning does strike twice. If you ain't looking, if you're not looking, I'm right here. I got a problem. Okay. Now let's really break this down. Because black folks, Latinos, Muslims, broke white folk, uneducated white folk, I'm going to tell you a little story. It's like Preacher Moss's bedtime story. And the story is, do your homework. Do your freaking homework. This man got the parade as an Indian for over 40 some years. 40 some years. And let me tell every black person here, every Latino here, you can't parade as a white anything. As a white anything. White people could be black. White people could be Latino. White people could be Native American and get away with it. Why? Because you're dealing with a people and a culture, they don't have a core. And here's the beautiful part, though. That whole thing about keep America beautiful, doesn't it sound like make America great again? Keep America beautiful, make America great again, keep America beautiful. I told you these folks ain't creative. Boy, I put that on Honorable Elijah Muhammad's Kufi. These people ain't creative. But they're patient. And they wait for people like me and other folks and people like you to somehow fade into the background. Or we fade into irrelevancy. Whereby if it's one truth person, one truth sayer in the audience of 100, you're never going to hear the truth sayer. You're never going to hear the person that brings the facts out. People cannot handle that. So here we are, brothers and sisters. Let me tell you this thing about keep America beautiful. You know who came up with that whole thing, this whole campaign? Who paid for it? Who underwrote it? Who shot it? Who approved all the shots? It was the corporations that polluted America. It happens every time. And as long as they can control that message, they believe that they can control you. Because we're gullible. It's not, brothers and sisters, that we believe these people. It's that it's more powerful. It's that we want to believe these people. We want to feel like these folks have our best interests at heart. Do you understand, brothers and sisters, what was going on in the 70s with the nation, the Native American nation, brothers and sisters? Do you have an idea? A clue, if you will? Well, I'm going to tell you what was going on. They were being displaced. That river, brothers and sisters, went past Alcatraz prison, which actually housed Native Americans. And on top of it, they were fighting to get that land back. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's not a clean thing. I can't give you all the facts, but hell, I'm not supposed to give you all the facts. You're supposed to do your homework. And the thing that I want you to understand, it took several years for people to realize, oops, we've been hoodwinked. Oops, I'm sorry. Now, this is probably going to hurt or sting a little bit. But the saddest thing you're ever going to see in terms of people getting tripped up in the game is when white people trip up other white people in the game. Now, I'm going to admit, when I watch it, I do show up early to get a front row seat. I do bring my popcorn and my binoculars. Now, I don't root for it, but hey, if a train wreck is going to happen, you want to see it up close. Why, brothers and sisters? Because you're going to learn people's habits. And in this commercial, you learn something, brothers and sisters, that it was like Biggie says in Juicy, it was all a dream. It was all a dream. So let me tell y'all about this dream. This dream right here is the one you're living now. So they're telling you about voting rights. And this might hurt some of my voting rights brothers and sisters. Black folk, if you are hoping for Democrats to pull it out the last ninth inning with 2 on and 2 strikes, they are going to fail you because they're tied up in the game. I explained something a couple days ago. I talked about a movie I saw where a guy played the president and it was a nuclear strike that was ordered. Maybe y'all remember this. A nuclear strike was ordered by Russia, and this president was in a bunker. He didn't know what was going on, and had a suitcase for him. And his thing was, if America's being attacked, to press that button and send missiles to Russia. And the drama built, and he opened the suitcase and he pressed the button, and the missiles all of a sudden fell into the sea. And the people said, why did the Russian missiles fall into the sea? He goes, because we sold them the missiles, but we own what's inside the missiles. That, brothers and sisters, is probably one of the most valuable lessons you're going to learn, either the hard way or the smart way, but you're going to learn. In this situation, brothers and sisters, the crying Indian, let's be honest, this may hurt too, but the Native Americans couldn't rise up in arms. They couldn't rise up in disgust. They couldn't get out there and socially protest. You know why? Because that was the only real representation in the media that they had. That a white Italian had to do that for them. And I want y'all to be careful, brothers and sisters. I've been saying this about black folk. So here we go again. You got a lot of people in blackface trying to talk about black issues. A lot of people in blackface trying to talk about, it's just like that old thing about potato salad. Who bought the potato salad? You got people, I got black friends, and then you get the potato salad and it got raisins in it. And everybody go, who bought the potato salad? Your friend bought the potato salad. Your friend felt like, I know the sensitivities and the cultural tastes of these people. I'm going to bring them potato salad. They're going to love raisins in it. Voila. And everybody's looking for that poor dog to give the potato salad to. I guarantee. What we got here, Altaf? I like that people in Canada are now trying to learn the history of Indigenous in Canada. What I can't stand is the people that are saying they are shocked and were never taught the history. While that may be true, I ask myself, what do you think happened to them? They just poof into thin air. Oh, okay. Altaf is on one. Altaf is on one. But when I watched this commercial, brothers, I think I was all of like 6 years old. And even at 6 years old, it was clear to me that I understood that Native Americans had gotten a raw deal. They got a raw deal. I watched the Lone Ranger defeat the whole Cherokee Nation in a Sunday afternoon. And he did it with Tonto, another Indian. I never liked Tonto, as a matter of fact. Tonto was a house Indian. But in real talk, When I saw Custer's last stand, you damn right I rooted for the Indians. Geronimo, I rooted for Geronimo because I understood the aspect of a treaty when I was 10 years old, and the treaty was unfair. This was these people's land. And the killer part, brothers and sisters, is they showed you a Native American, and here's the deep part. Here's the deep part. Here's the deep part. These corporations and mega companies and mega corporations that produce all of this environmental toxicity want you to believe that one Indian crying is supposed to move you to pick up a piece of trash. We're not talking about picking up pieces of trash. We're talking about the Exxon Valdez dropping gallons of oil in the water and killing all kind of wildlife. We're talking about 3 Mile Island. We're talking about fish rolling up on the sea already cooked because the water's so damn warm. We're talking about these things. And you know what they wanted you to do, brothers and sisters? They wanted everybody to have personal accountability about how they thought about pollution. Because if you're focused on personal accountability, you're not looking at environmental or corporate accountability. See what I'm saying? You get it? So you're making it all of a sudden, I can fix this problem. You can't fix the problem if the smokestacks have plumes of smoke that go 24 hours a day for the last 30 years. If you have chemicals that leak into the ground that cause frogs to be disformed and babies to be disformed too. I don't make environmental products like pesticides and stuff like that. I don't do that. But they got everybody thinking, brothers and sisters, that somehow we need personal accountability to solve their crimes. And guess what, brothers and sisters? Right here, right now, it's the same thing. Voting, brothers and sisters, is now being pushed to a point where individuals, hear me now, individuals feel like I can correct the voting situation. My personal accountability, my personal integrity can fix it. Not on the side of black folk that have been voting for years, but on the side of white folks that think that the election was a fraud and it was a lie. It is the equivalent of having a white man roll down the stream just like that Indian, up to a voting booth and tell the black man, I can figure out, I can help you with voting. He goes, how? He goes, you can't vote. Simple story. So let me get to the point and let me rap a little bit. I want you to watch that commercial once. It's called The Crying Indian. The Crying Indian commercial is important for a couple of factors. I personally believe that it delayed the movement for climate control or even climate awareness. That we look at the emotional aspect of a Native American to the point where we associated his pain with what we did to the land and not what we did to him. Figure that out. Your emotional heartstrings are upset because somebody threw food and trash at the feet of this Native American. But we don't have any clue that these Native Americans were ripped from their own lands that we put them on, and we tried to whiten them up, put them in white schools, cut their hair, change their name, gave them Christian names. We don't know that. If you don't know that, then this commercial I just showed you, you probably said, oh, that's so sad. Dig, people, please dig. Better yet, don't just dig. Fish, fish, fish. That's my show today, brothers and sisters. Make a dua for no more crying Indians. Preacher Moss, that's the SOS. See you tomorrow. Oh, wait. Can't even say see you tomorrow. I'm sorry. Let's go to our sponsors. See how it is? They got your boy all riled up about the fish without thanking our sponsors. So we'll give a shout out to BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. Again, that's BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. Call 1-888-496-6845. Again, that's 1-888-496-6845. And you want to give a shout out to Bayan Islamic Graduate School. Check them out at bayanonline.org. Again, that's bayanonline.org. That's our show. Thank you so much, Sister Satana. Everybody, keep fishing. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. SOS.